Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This video, we are looking at the NFL PrizePicks plays for Thursday Night Football, Week 6 already. We've got the Broncos in prime time, heading to Kansas City to take off Patrick Mahomes, and the Chiefs are coming into this game 10.5-point dogs. Should expect a lot of passing from the Broncos, especially if they're going to be down for much of the second half like you'd expect. I think Mahomes is due for a big game. It's been, decent. Nothing spectacular for him. He's yet to throw for more than 300 yards. He only threw that one time against the Jags. Most of the time he's been in the high 200s. He hasn't had like a crazy high touchdown game yet. Expecting all that to change against the Broncos. So let's get started. As always, if you enjoy the content, please hit the like button, subscribe if you have not already. You can check out other links in the description. Follow on Twitter, and let's get started. So I got 6 props. First one we're looking at is Patrick Mahomes over 268.5 passing yards. This number is a nice discount on PrizePicks right now. It's on Sportsbooks. Its number's already at 272.5. Expect that to climb a little bit. Broncos giving up the 4th most passing yards per game this year. Teams have had a lot of success against them. Even like Zach Wilson didn't throw for a ton of yards, but he's Zach Wilson. He's only had one good game in his career for the most part. And Patrick Mahomes is kind of been a quieter, getting the job done, but I think he's going to explode. And no better team to do it against than the Denver Broncos. So we're taking his over. On the other side, I'm taking Russell Wilson over as well. I mean, he's thrown for a ton of yards this year. The last couple of weeks, he's still been fine. I mean, 223, that would hit this number on PrizePicks. 196 against the Jets. They couldn't move the ball through the air at all. Against the Jets, they have a good defense. Kansas City's not as good of a defense as the Jets, obviously. The Chiefs have very young secondary. So I think Wilson, if his receivers can finally make some plays, with Jeudy and Sutton being super disappointing this year, he's going to hit this over. Expect him to throw a lot in this game, especially in the second half. So I like his over, Mahomes over. Going to pair those, correlate that with some receiving props. Travis Kelce over 67.5 receiving yards is one that I'm looking at. He's been fine this year, but he was taken in the top 10 of most drafts, going like 7 or 8 for the most part, sometimes 6. Some underdog drafts, some best ball drafts. So he's been a bit disappointing. He's been banged up at times, but he's kind of been catching a lot of short passes. We haven't seen him have a multi-touchdown game yet this year. Entire offense has just been fine, but it seems like with the Chiefs not having a ton of threats at receiver, their teams are focusing on just taking Kelce and preventing him to having a monster game. But against the Broncos, I think he's still going to have a good enough game to hit this over on PrizePicks. We only need 68 yards. He's had a number of 100-plus yard games against the Broncos in his career. And at home in KC, maybe T Swift will be in the crowd. Take his over yards, maybe take his over. It's half a touchdown. Take that if you wanted to. On a separate slip, maybe you take his over catches. But speaking of catches, not Johnson. I'm taking Cortland Sutton over 3.5 catches. He's been bad the last couple of weeks. Last week against the Jets, only had one catch that didn't come until the fourth quarter. They also are just not really getting those guys involved too much. I think they have to change their offensive game plan a bit. Make sure they're targeting Sutton and Jeudy early and often. And especially in this game, they're going to need their receivers to step up or else they have no shot. So if Sutton doesn't get us 4 catches, then it's probably very likely that Russell Wilson doesn't hit his over. So trying to correlate some of these picks together. I think Wilson, Sutton, that makes sense. Another receiving yard prop that we're taking is Jeudy over 52.5. One of these receivers is going to have a big play at some point this year. It's just been super disappointing. Neither has had 100 yards. And Jeudy's last couple of weeks has just been in the 50s. At least Sutton on the other side has also not played really well. Good news is that both Sutton and Jeudy are on the field a lot. They're playing like 80+% of snaps almost every week. Johnson is a third receiver. He plays 50 to 60% of snaps. And then Marvin Mims, the rookie, they'll have him in there just to run some deep verticals. And he's playing about like 25 to 30% of snaps. So I feel most confident taking the guys that are going to be out there on the field a lot. Sutton and Jeudy. Kelce doesn't really, he comes off the field to get rest, but he's always in there for running routes. Quarterback's not coming off the field, obviously. And then another prop we're taking is Marquez Valdez-Scantling over 18.5 yards. He's been quiet the last few weeks. Good news for him is that he's just playing a lot of snaps. They play a ton of guys at receiver, but Valdes-Scantling is playing 50 to 60+% of snaps. He hasn't played fewer than 41 total snaps in any of the games so far this year. He's had a couple of decent games, a lot of disappointing games, but he's out there on the field the most. You only need one catch pretty much to get this done with how much Valdes-Scantling can be targeted deep. Maybe 2 catches, but wouldn't be shocked if he gets you like 1 catch, 60 yards, a touchdown. This type of player he is. Against a Broncos defense, definitely opportunities to take some shots. And you wouldn't expect them to have their best cornerback, Pat Surtain, on him. So probably get some look. Maybe they have Surtain on Rice or Sky Moore, but I don't think he'll be on Valdes-Scantling. So that's a little bit of a boost there. And that's pretty much it. Those are the 6 props that I'm looking at this week, or for this Thursday night game. Over 260.5 passing yards for Mahomes, over 219.5 for Wilson, 68 yards needed from Kelce, 4 catches from Sutton, 53 yards from Jeudy, and 19 yards from Valdes-Scantling. Other props I'd look to are McKinnon over receiving yards, Javonte Williams over rush yards just because it's super low. I think both quarterbacks will hit their over on rush yards as well. Receptions, if you're not taking Sutton, I look to Kelce. Then I'd look to Johnson. Then I'd look to Scantling. And Rice would be my least favorite just because pretty much need 4 catches. 3 is going to be a push. Kicking, I think field goals. The Chiefs are probably likely to kick 2 field goals, so you can take that over. If we can get to that. Field goals made, over 1.5 for Butker. But those are the 6 I got locked in for you guys. Thank you for watching. Best of luck. And I'll catch you all next time.